And now it's going to be a sack. Chris Jones smokes Phillip Rivers right back at the 40.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
He goes up the right seam. 25-20. Touchdown! Kareem Hunt! He's around Standing. Look at him go! Impossible! Touchdown, Kansas City! Carr's in trouble. He is going to be pulled down and sacked. Justin Houston.
Chiefs win 30-23. Hard-fought win over the Denver Broncos. Mitch Holtis with you along with BJ Kissel. Division game. Chiefs win 7 straight times. We can talk about streaks. Denver came to play, let's be honest.
Yeah, when you look at the streaks, you think that this one's going to be easy. They've won 6 straight. But you look closer at those games, it's always been a dogfight. It's always been close. You knew that coming into this one, it was going to come down to the wire, and it did. You saw both sides. You saw the offense start a little bit slow, and then they picked it up, and we'll get into the details of what we thought kind of was the catalyst for all that. But at the end of the day, the defense stepped up late in this game and made some plays.
Yeah, we're going to hear from Sammy Watkins later in the show. We'll talk offense, but this really starts with defense. And we're going to have Breeland Speaks here shortly. Defensively, though, there were 3 straight possessions Denver could have cut into the league. The Chiefs had 4 flat tires on offense, punts and the interception by Mahomes. What about the defense? I call them the whim defense when it matters most.
Yeah, they forced the 2 turnovers, and I think at one point in the late third, early middle fourth quarter in this game, both teams went 7 drives in a row that went for under 3 minutes. So it was just ping-ponging back and forth. But you had the strip sack from D Ford, you had the fumble recovery by Breeland Speaks, you had the Kendall Fuller interception, those guys making plays. But Mitch, you and I were just talking a minute ago, we both had the same exact thought as what the difference in this game was. Early in the second quarter, Chiefs are trailing 7-3. The Broncos are in Chiefs territory. They're in field goal range. And then Tano Passigno, who's outside linebackers coach Mike Smith, who I know you had a chance to talk to this week, coming into the show, if you watched the pregame show, had these guys prepared. They saw that play during the week, that little reverse play to get him out on the edge. Tano saw it was coming, knew it was coming because of the work they did during the week. It makes a huge play. McManus misses the field goal, and that kind of catalyzed. That was kind of the catalyst for everything, got everybody going. Chiefs kind of never looked back after that.
All right, Art, thank you, Coach. Congratulations. 7 straight against these Broncos. Early, it seemed like you struggled a little bit with all that man protection, but in the second half, your offensive line seemed to take it a little personal.
Yeah, we did. With that first series, they got us a little bit, and then we came back and picked it up a little bit after that. And it was kind of back and forth. And then when we needed the big stops, our defense stepped up, and I thought they did a great job.
I want to get to that in a second. Every week, it seems like somebody on the offense is stepping up. This week, it was Sammy Watkins.
Sammy had a big game. We went into it feeling like he would, just by the design of the plays that were in there and then his ability. He worked his tail off and did a great job with it, and plays physical now. I mean, when he has a ball in his hands, it's like having a running back out there with a ball in his hands, so he got to punish you.
It seemed a little bit like the defense struggled to set the edge, but the Broncos running back, Phillip Lindsay, his yards after contact's impressive. How big a challenge was that?
Yeah, that kid did a great job, I thought. And like I said, our defense, they rallied down the stretch, but that kid had a nice game.
You mentioned the timing when it matters most. This is the 3rd week in a row after you give the ball up, your defense goes back and takes it right back.
Yeah, they did. D Ford had a nice play, and 23, I think, had a pretty nice play in there too, Fuller. So it was a good day for those guys.
Huge 3rd down stop by number 44, Dorian O'Daniel. That was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, Dorian has been playing more and more. Gifted athlete now. He can really run. It's just a matter of learning the defense, and he's been doing that. He's working real hard at that, and as a result, he's getting play time. And when he plays, he does that right there. So that's why Brett brought him in here, and he does a nice job. Nice addition there.
Chris Jones, Breeland Speaks, both with good days.
Yeah, they both, I thought, played well, played hard, aggressive, came after the quarterback. Enough said there, right? They good.
It seemed like last year with Bob Sutton, the media and many of us were asking, where are the sacks? Yeah. People love sacks in the NFL, and pressures are important too, but to see them getting to the QB, what kind of leap has the defensive line taken to get to where they are getting to the quarterback more and more?
Well, I think it's all about improvement. And to me, Tom, when you look at a team, you don't want to be the best in week 1. You want to have a situation where you're growing during the season. We're seeing this defense really grow astronomically. They've gone from kind of that team that's the bend but don't break, give up a lot of yards, actually give up a bunch of points, to now they're starting to get pressure on the quarterback. You have Chris Jones that has gotten 4 straight games where he's gotten a sack in a game. You're seeing guys come alive, and even some of the young talent be very impactful for the defense and helping them catapult themselves to some wins.
Let's talk about young talent at the quarterback position, and we must be talking about Patrick Mahomes. Danon, just this day, it's a third straight game with 4 touchdown passes. What impressed you most with Patrick in this one?
Well, what impressed me the most is that it didn't start off as cleanly as you'd like, but he's a guy that is resilient. He understands how to continue to keep confidence in his receivers, and the receivers know it's only a matter of time. I mean, they started off relatively slow, but they had 4 consecutive drives where they scored points, 4 touchdowns, and then they also had a field goal. It went a little bit of a lull at the end of the game, but the pressure continued to stay on, and you never got a feeling that he was defeated, that he was not going to be his best at some point in the game. He just showed a solid window in getting that done.
Here is the Patrick Mahomes record of the week, brought to you by Patrick Mahomes. 9 games. He's thrown 25 touchdowns in 9 games. Nobody has ever done that. Kurt Warner did it in 10, Deshaun Watson at 11, and of course Dan Marino in 12. But it seems like every week this is becoming happen place now. Does it feel normal now to see what Pat's doing every week, or does he still surprise you sometimes?
It surprises me just a bit, and the reason why I say that, Tom, is because of who they're going against. This is the team that knows him the best. This is the 3rd time that he has faced this Denver Broncos team in his short starting career, and yet he's still proficient, throwing for 4 touchdowns, had the 1 interception, but you kind of feel like he's dominant amongst the AFC West, and teams are going to kind of reckon about this because he's so special of a talent that teams just can't figure him out. And if the Denver Broncos, after 3 times, can't figure him out, I don't know who else could. And
it's nice to see some figuring out between Patrick and one of his main weapons, Sammy Watkins. We're going to hear from him one-on-one coming up next here on Chiefs Rewind.
Over the middle, pass is caught inside the 5. Sammy Watkins into the end zone, high steps, touchdown, Kansas City, and the Chiefs 16 unanswered points on the Broncos. Todd Davis was left in the dust.
Big day for this guy, Sammy Watkins. 8 catches, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I'm going to start with your 2 touchdowns. Let's take your first one first. You guys were on a roll. Explain that play.
Just got a perfect look from Pat, and we did it all week, and we got the matchup on the linebacker, and that's like a wideout's dream to be matched up on a linebacker. We got a cover 4 look, and we worked all week on it, and it was just a great play by me, darting the running back, and Pat just made a great pass.
And the second one looked like they were chasing you man-to-man, but, I mean, you were going after Roby all day and winning those.
Yeah, Trav actually set a perfect screen on 29.
Legally, of course, right?
Legally, yeah. And I was just able to run full speed to the side, to the pylon, and once again, Pat just made a great pass to me.
Sammy, this is a good Denver defense. You guys were able to score on 5 straight possessions. What were you able to get clicking today for the entire offense?
Just preparation during the week. I think once we play fast in practice and practice the way we need to practice, and all the guys, hone in on the game plan, the preparation, because the coach every week, Coach Andy Reid and the staff gonna have a great game plan. Once we master that and do the right things in practice, we can come out here every week and showcase our talents.
One of the things that's impressed me so much is you've been asked to do so many things in this offense. You may have to block on those bullet passes, and you're blocking like a champ. The roles seem to change week to week, but what about accepting your role no matter what?
I think the coaches know me better than I know myself, with just keeping me engaged in the game, getting those blocks. That kind of keep me attentive. Playing around, I can mess with Von Miller. I can mess with the D lineman, knowing I don't have nothing to do with them. And just getting those guys' heads and stay in the game.
I got to ask you, how much fun are you having being in the Chiefs Kingdom?
I've been on 3 teams, and this one special organization from top to bottom. Even talking to you, it's just a great feeling to be out there and actually having a chance to be a part of this team. And hopefully, we can continue going to the playoffs and hopefully the Super Bowl.
Sammy Watkins back in Buffalo was the guy who they traded a first-round pick to go get. So much pressure on him. And I think being here, it's just got to be a world of difference to be able to do your thing and capitalize when your number's called. But what does that relief do for a guy to then go out and have a good game like this?
Well, I think it's convoluted, Tom. And what I mean by that is that they spent a lot of money to get Sammy Watkins in. What comes with that could be some pressure, but it takes a special organization, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, a lot of the players that are around him, that relieves that pressure and allows him to go out and play. When you hear him talk, you can see the smile on his face. You can see how he's, observed everybody around here, how he recognizes the relationships that he has and the special play on the field. It's a complete package that he's really adopted himself to and adapted to, and I think he's a special talent. He's a #1 target on this team or any other team, and just because he's amongst a bunch of playmakers, it kind of relegates him to that #2 or #3 guy.
He had some real pivotal catches, but he is not our pivotal moment. That goes to the defense and Mr. Tano Passanio. Danon set it up for us.
Well, we haven't had very many pivotal moments that involve the defense, but this game came up special. Tano Passanio came up with the stop. Now, what makes this so pivotal is that because it was a tackle for loss, relegated them to a field goal attempt that they missed. Subsequently, we came down and scored right away. So the momentum had shifted at that point towards the Denver Broncos, but the Chiefs capitalized on that big play. And from there on, it was all win.
What kind of gut punch was that when you think you're on a touchdown drive, basically, and then you take no points?
Well, it's huge, especially in enemy territory. You're playing in a hostile environment. You're playing against such a dynamic offense, and you want to put points on the board. That negated that opportunity and opened the door for the Chiefs to get some more life and put some more points on the board. The Denver Broncos, 2 games this season, they have to be kicking themselves about opportunities missed and lost against this team when they only lost by, 1 possession in one game and 1 possession in the other.
This might get me in trouble with some Chiefs fans, but credit to the Broncos. They've played them close, they've played them tough, but the Chiefs now 2-0. More from inside the locker room with the players next on Chiefs Rewind.
The Chiefs improved to 7-1 as they complete the season sweep over the Denver Broncos by a final of 30-23 here at Arrowhead Stadium. While you could point to multiple great performances on the offensive side of the ball between Patrick Mahomes and Sammy Watkins, who had over 100 yards, this defense has been coming on quietly over the past few games. They had 5 sacks against the Broncos, 3 from Dee Ford, and this game was put on ice by an interception from Kendall Fuller.
How important was it for you guys, even though your number kept getting called, to come up and get those stops?
Very important, and it sends a message, across the board. Special teams was awesome too, and the offense was awesome. The way this game works is unlucky breaks. You know what I mean? Our offense was making plays. We had key penalties that drove them back, so we just had to be ready. You never know when your number is going to be called. So that's team football, period. So
coming into this game, did you see yourselves getting in situations to make as many plays as you did today?
I approach every game like that. But at the end of the day, every player know, and we've said this individually, be able to make the plays that you can make. You see what I'm saying? Don't try to make every play, but make the plays that you can make. So the opportunities presented itself, and I was able to capitalize for the most part.
It was just a good play call by Coach Reid, and able to see opportunity as another defender go low at my legs and just jump over him. And after that, I knew I was like on the 6-yard line or something, that I was going to have to fight and drag somebody to the end zone.
So the play is obviously designed to do well. You got the first down. It was 4th down play. But when did you realize that something special could maybe happen on a play like that?
As soon as I ran through those guys' arm tackles in the hole, I knew it was going to be big after that.
Is that your favorite one so far?
What, touchdown?
Yeah.
It'd be that one or probably against the Patriots, the pass.
How about this team? The Broncos came in. They gave you guys a lot. I mean, they fought pretty hard. You guys are 7-1 now, halfway through the year. Swept the Broncos. Where do you feel like you are right now?
I feel like we're in a good spot right now, and the Broncos know us very well. We played them a lot, and they were ready to come fight, because this game was pretty much everything for them to beat us, and we did a great job of just coming out and not letting that happen at home. So I feel like we're in a good spot, and we got to just keep it rolling.
I love that he thinks back to his first touchdown in the NFL and that long pass. I believe it was his first. Either way, first big game for him, being one of the big ones for him. I know he didn't get a ton of yards per carry in this game, but what else is Kareem Hunt showing you that can allow the Chiefs to use him in many different ways?
Well, it's the versatility, the ability to break tackles. We've talked about that each and every week that he's touched the ball. He is a guy, I think I saw him one time today get tackled by the initial tackler, and that was a big defensive lineman that he got stopped at the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, he is an imposing force upon any opposing defenses. The way he's able to run the ball, the way he's able to catch the ball out of the backfield is just a special, special talent. But he's not a guy that needs to touch the ball 20, 25 times a game. He can be a part of the offense and the flow of the offense, and he can take a back seat at times.
Let's go to my favorite thing and least favorite thing at the same time on the face of the earth. Twitter, it's our social reaction, starting with Arrowhead Pride saying, "You shall not pass." Get it? Tunnel passing yo with the K. You shall not K-pass. That's what I want to say. It's weird. Clay Wendler, "Hi, we're the Chiefs. We make you cover Sammy Watkins with a linebacker." Matchup staining.
Yes, taking advantage of matchups. That's a mismatch any day of the week.
All right, and last but not least, Andy Torres, "Alexa, play Jumpman by Drake." Fitting.
Jumpman.
This is where you come in. Yeah. I like my Drake, but I can't quote Jumpman unless I'm just going to say Jumpman, but there it was.
I can say too.
The Drake aficionados, we may not be, but we know our football. That play, I mean, take me through the last two hurdles you've seen. Put them up against any play you've seen any player make. How special are these things?
Well, it's special because you look at the way he runs. Normally, you have an opportunity as a running back to get your shoulders going downhill, get your head tucked in, and you're ready to truck a guy or shake him. Normally, when you see a running back do that, what we've seen from Kareem Hunt is that when he's not in that position, he's able to make the immediate adjustment to either shake somebody or jump over him over the last 2 weeks. To me, that's a special adjustment that not many running backs can make in the NFL.
We know a guy who's pumped after another big sack in this one. Breeland Speaks. He's coming up next one-on-one here on Chiefs Rewind.
On first down, Keenum from the pocket to throw. Being rushed, he's hit. Speaks not influenced this time. He influences Keenum and shovels dirt on him all the way back at the 36. It is a loss of 13 yards.
Time now to talk to rookie Breeland Speaks. Situational football. The game wasn't put away. You guys had to defend short field and getting the ball right back. What about in the fourth quarter, what you guys were able to do?
Guys just knew, just like offenses had our backs for so many weeks, we had to have their backs for a change. And everybody stepped up to the plate. Everybody knew their job they had to do, and everybody did it.
You finished this game with a huge sack and then the big fumble recovery. You leapt on the ball right there. Just we talked earlier in the week just how the game's coming to you now compared to what was earlier in the season. Just how are things slowing down for you? How are you seeing the game differently than you did early in the year?
Like we talked earlier this week, it's about setting up those guys, going into the game with a plan, knowing what works against that guy, and just basically executing it.
I want to ask you, Breeland, specifically. So Patrick threw the interception. You talk about picking up the offense. The sack and strip by D, you get the recovery. That moment for your defense and what you were thinking.
We got to have their back. Sudden change. We can't let these guys score. D went and got the sack. I went and got the ball. That's how it has to be.
I know you come in from obviously the college game and the camaraderie you had in that locker. I'm just curious what it's like for you as a rookie coming into this situation and this defense. You've got some established players. How have they welcomed you and how close is this group? Kind of take us behind the scenes as far as how you guys are coming together right now.
Guys are very close. Guys know every week we got to be together. We got to play together because it don't work without everybody working together. So it's been very fun. They've been welcoming, especially in that outside linebacker group, but we feel like a brotherhood up in that room. So it's been pretty fun with those guys, and all of us want to see each other make plays and things like that. So it's been pretty fun so far.
I want to ask you about your rookie class. You're coming on. Derek had a big play. Dorian O'Daniel was big late in this game. He was last week. What about your rookie class and how they're counted on now?
You got a lot of guys from the SEC and ACC. That's what we do. We just come in, we play ball, put our nose down, we fight hard, and that's just it. That's been our MO, everybody in my class.
You guys sit at 7-1 right now, and it seems like every win each week has been a different kind of win. You've had to pull it out a different way. The way that the defense had to step up late in this game, just how do you build upon this moving forward, going to face Cleveland on the road next week?
You just basically just keep stacking. I feel like we're about to hit our stride as a defense. Guys are working harder every week. Guys aren't being complacent. Guys know that each week we got a target on our back. So each week we got to put in that much more effort.
Hello again, Breeland Speaks. He did it again. I mean, there were lots of people who knew he could play football, but some people just knew him from the waving guy in the Egg Bowl when he was at Ole Miss. And another big fumble recovery. I mean, you got to have some fun when you're playing the game, right?
Oh, absolutely. And this team, to me, this is probably the more fun team that we've seen in Kansas City for many, many years. You got a lot of young talent on the field. They like to dance. They like to have fun. Choreography is on point.
I couldn't believe there was no choreographed dance after Kelsey's touchdown. It was just a spike. That was it.
Yeah.
It's 2018. Come on. All right.
Disappointed.
Let's talk about the guy across the line from Breeland Speaks today. Leading off Dana's chief observations, Dee Ford. What a day for him.
Well, what a day, what a season so far for Dee Ford. Had 3 sacks on the afternoon, has 8 sacks on the season, and the constant pressure that he kind of was the catalyst on in regards to getting in the face and getting behind Case Keenum and dislodging the ball, creating turnovers. He's a special talent. We've been waiting a long time to see this kind of production from Dee Ford, but he's really stepping up, especially with the absence of Justin Houston.
Offensively, a special talent. Sammy Watkins taken 4th overall for a reason. What did you see from him today?
Well, 8 catches, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. Very violent after the catch, great with yardage after the catch, and taking advantage of mismatches. This is the type of presence you want to have with that other receiver. A lot of eyes, when the huddle is broken for the Chiefs, they look to see where number 10 is, but now they have to pay attention to who number 14 is as well.
And number 27, Kareem Hunt, the hurdler himself.
Well, he's just a special talent, so versatile, so violent, and so athletic as well. He gets the job done at that running back position. It's just so tough for opposing defenses to account for each and every weapon that this Chiefs offense has.
He jumped almost as high as you can jump, Danon. Almost.
I pulled a hamstring just watching it.
We're going to talk about the podium coming up next. Guys who don't have to pull hamstrings and go crazy. They stand there and they talk. We'll hear from them next.
Listen, all in all, a good win. This is a tough football team. Pat's done a good job with it, and with them, and it seems like every time we play them, it comes right down to the wire, and no different today. It's great to see our defense step up there at the end and make some plays, and with the 2 turnovers, I mean, those are great and opportunistic, man. So, and we're able to come out on top. I had a play that I liked, and sometimes you get to that point and you go, it's a 50-50 shot. This one here, I'm going, we have a whole lot of options on it, and with some pretty good players touching it. So dialed it up, and good things happened. And, Kareem, that vertical deal he's doing, he can get up now.
When you're in this league, you have to win with every aspect of the game. You can't rely on the offense scoring 40 points. You can't rely on the defense giving up 0 points. I mean, everybody has to be on the same page. And I felt like we in this game, it kind of showed that the defense was getting some stops early, and the offense scored some points, and then the defense held strong at the end. And, I mean, that's what the good teams do. They win games with every aspect of the game, and the special teams flipped the field, it felt like, every single time they had the opportunity. And so, I mean, it speaks volumes of how this team is and how we can pick each other up. I mean, I threw an interception, and then the defense got to turn over the next drive. I mean, that just speaks to the team that we have. It's hard to grade. I mean, I always feel like we could be better. I feel like we could score more points. I feel like we could win by bigger margins. But at the same time, I mean, this is the NFL. I mean, every team's good every single week. And we had a very tough schedule coming out with a lot of really good teams this first half of the season. And for us to be sitting here 7-1, I mean, I would love to be 8-0. But at the same time, I'm happy with where we are and where we're going.
The Chiefs get this done, 30-23 over the Broncos. Mahomes again over 300 yards in passing. But to me, it starts with the offensive line. Austin Ryder had started one game in his life, and then he had an ACL injury in that game. What about those guys and how they just piece it together?
We talk about next man up, and people think it's a cliche and that it's what you say whenever a guy gets injured. But if Coach Reid didn't believe in that and didn't believe in and have confidence in the next guys to step up, he's not going to call a 4th and 1 fake option shovel pass to Kareem Hunt inside the red zone. And Kareem Hunt did what Kareem Hunt does. And now he's just kind of expected anytime a DB is going to come up in the open field, he's going to leap over him, carry a guy into the end zone. Have you seen a running back, do things like what we've seen from Kareem the last 4 weeks?
No, he's feeling it. The Chiefs get this win. The defense holds on. We talked about that earlier. Now we monitor the injuries because you're looking at what happened to Anthony Hitchens, 4th in the league in tackles. You look at what happened to the offensive line to Cam Irving. We'll keep you updated, but what about just piecing it together for Cleveland?
I think every team is dealing with it. You look at the Broncos, they were dealing with injuries at this point in the season. You know you're not going to go through and not miss key starters at some point during the season. And just every guy that gets up, we go back to OTAs, we go back to training camp. Mitch, you and I talk about it all the time, seeing those guys mix in, seeing different guys get different looks with the group. And next thing you know, it's Ben Neiman stepping up, a guy that we talked about at training camp, a guy we talked about during the preseason, gets a little run with the defense. You see development of guys like Dorian O'Daniel and some of those dime packages. I don't know why teams keep throwing running backs in the flat with Dorian O'Daniel's running around, but you got injuries, and the next guy's got to step up. The one thing that Breeland Speaks told us earlier, you have confidence in all those guys to step up and make plays. The team is no bigger than one guy, and the next guy keeps making plays.
When it's all said and done, that's 19-2 against the AFC West, including 19 of the last 20 wins over the division. Enjoy the rest of your Kingdom Week and get ready for Cleveland.
Wrapping things up here on Chiefs Rewind, looking ahead into the future. And what we see are the Cleveland Browns, who you might know well from Hard Knocks. You might know them as the team that tied a game this season as well. The Browns, not so great this year record-wise. Is it a trap game? It's at Cleveland. The Chiefs are riding high. Is that a real thing, Dane, and how do you assess it?
Oh, it could be a concern. And the reason why I say that, because this Chiefs team has played their best football on their home turf here at Arrowhead. You also consider, you still got to factor in the injuries, Andrew Wiley, Austin Ryder. There's going to be film on these guys now. Now the Cleveland Browns can prepare against those specific holes, and we don't know how things are going to unfold with Anthony Hitchens. There could be a fill-in and a different role for guys on the defensive side. So to answer your question, this could be a trap game, but I'm still confident in our Chiefs.
The last time Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield played each other, I think 1 million passing yards occurred and 85,000 pass attempts. Look, it was so much fun. Oklahoma, Texas Tech, the rematch now, 2 young quarterbacks, faces of the league at least. What can we forecast in this one between these two?
Well, I think there's a lot more confidence garnered with Patrick Mahomes now than there is with Baker Mayfield. Both are special talents. Both guys have bright futures, but at the same time, Baker Mayfield's playing on his home turf. You still have to be aware about that. This is going to be a tough task. There's no easy game in the NFL. Everyone will be targeting this Chiefs team because we are, if not the best, maybe the second best in the NFL right now. So you can expect the Cleveland Browns to really step up their game.
Chiefs former GM now runs the show there. That's a desperate organization. Might make for an interesting game next Sunday. The Chiefs hoping to go to 8-1. We appreciate you watching this edition of Chiefs Rewind. He's Dan Hughes. I'm Tom Martin. For everybody at our 65 TPT studios, thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.